That's when you can know you've done enough.
In failure and in suffering, all the answers are in there. All the answers to all the test questions. The test is your life. All the answers are in there. You don't have to live in suffering and pain and failure all the time. You have to learn, I need to visit it. Like people hate working out. You're only gonna visit working out maybe an hour a day. 23 other hours of the day, you're not in it. But how you become in shape is you must visit suffering, visit working out 1 hour a day. All I wanted people to do in my life, I don't care about the money, I don't care about the fame, I don't care if all my followers go away tomorrow. I wanted a lot of people that doubted me to look like Apollo Creed did in that 14th round because I got back up repeatedly. And when you keep on getting back up like that, no matter how strong the person is that's beating the shit out of you, they eventually look at you and say, you know what, I'm tired. And I just want people to be tired. It's funny. I walk around, people come to me and they say, man, you're that Navy SEAL, you went through Ranger School, you were, Air Force TAC P. The funny thing about it that I think about is this. They know that part of me. This is the part I know about myself. I failed the ASVAB test to get in the military 3 times. In the Air Force, failed at pararescue. In the SEALs, it took me 3 times to get through Navy SEAL training. This is what I know about me. So what I'm saying is this, you can't live your life being afraid to fail. All those failures made me the success in the day. Most people who are failing are trying their ass off. I don't want to set out and say, oh, there's an A, we're good. It's stupid. No, I want to turn it in 1,000,000 times and say you failed. You failed. Now it's okay, roger that. And sit there and analyze what I'm doing wrong.
Never forget to train your mind.
Make sure in life you do what you have to do, say what you have to say, and live the life that you have to live. Don't walk around being a fake human being. Don't be scared to be who you are. Look at your audience who's criticizing you, first of all.
Yep.
They're not even in your world.
Yes.
You don't even talk to me.
Yep.
Block them out. Go to these places that people don't go to anymore because all this social media and everything's computerized. I want to go to that dark place in my mind and say, okay, how are we going to get this done? When I was 297 pounds and I was fat as hell trying to be a Navy SEAL, the scariest thing in the world to me, even to this day, was that could have been the rest of my life. I thought then I was trying hard. And sometimes life is fucking hard.
So when I first joined the Navy, I had to join the reserves because I couldn't get into active duty because I was so fat. So being a reservist, I got titled a lot of times as a weekend warrior. In the reserves, you work 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. A lot of us live our lives that way. We can't work out without purpose. The biggest purpose in life isn't all that. It's how you respect yourself, how you look at yourself. That's an everyday journey.
You're not working your butt off hard enough. You're not trying hard enough. We all think we're trying hard, but what are you gauging that off of?
In life, a lot of us work our ass off, trying to get to a better place, a place that makes us feel better about ourselves. But guess what happens? Once you get to the actual event, your mind isn't ready. Your mind's not prepared. You've been studying, you've been training, you've been working out, but your mind's not prepared. Story for you. When I was 19 years old, I was going through the Air Force trying to be a pararescueman. I was doing push-ups, sit-ups, swimming. I was doing all this, knocking out of the park. One of the best in the class. But the second the obstacle got in my way, I wasn't prepared for it mentally. So every day you should be getting after it. We look at determination, self-discipline. We look at hard work. All these terms, it's almost like we dread them. Almost like a fucking punishment. Those are the biggest words of all time as far as respecting yourself.
trying hard is something in your mind just doesn't stop. Only those people who have been there a million times in their minds and have suffered a million times and realize my legs may break, my knee may break, and accept that. I know right now, whether you hate me, love me, I'm a this, I'm a that, whatever you want to think, I made it.
The Washington Bullets select Tyrone Bogues.
Now they got the tallest and the shortest. Tyrone Bogues, he is now the shortest player in the NBA. Tyrone Bogues from Wake Forest.
At the age of 5, I got shot. Growing up in the city of Baltimore was challenging. As a kid, it was a lot of drug-infested areas in our neighborhood, a lot of shooting, a lot of violence. Unfortunately for me, at the age of 5, I got shot. Being outside, being at the wrong place at the wrong time. My mom and dad was going crazy, not knowing that I was outside, and then knowing that, I was one of the kids laying out there with a couple buckshots all over his body was very frightening and scary for them as well as myself. But it was our life. It was a man of growing up. I mean, no one thought they have a life expectancy past 20, and which was very strange, knowing that was the case. But that was the mindset back then, because we had a lot of guys at a young age dying, mainly because, they wanted that fast money. They wanted to get into that world a lot sooner, and they wanted to, possibly take care of their family as well as to try to provide for their household. So, people did all sorts of things in terms of trying to make ends meet. But luckily that we had a game called basketball and sports. Sports was really a mechanism that kept us really gave us a safe haven place to really feel comfortable at. That was a way of keeping us, off the streets, keeping our mind, active in other areas, as opposed to thinking about, hey, it's time to try to, go over and get a few of those quick dollars. At that time, I had no inkling or no idea that, I wanted to pursue this as a career. It was just a hobby. It was just something that I wanted to do. But unfortunately for me, being small and trying to play a sport that didn't know at the time was supposed to have been meant for a big or taller player, got a lot of criticism from it. A lot of backlash, a lot of name calling, which could affect your confidence. Well, at the beginning, it was challenging. It was tough, many days and many nights going home and just crying to my mom and just telling her how cruel the kids are out there and, how mean they were. I wanted it all. I wasn't just going to satisfy with what someone else had planned for me. I wanted to create my own destiny, and I started to understand that I was in position to do that. And, when I became 12 and 13 years old, words never matter. It came in one ear out the other. I was on the journey, I was on my path, trying to become this basketball player that no one felt like he had any opportunity to do so. Little jokes that was out there, if you're short, you need to be sitting on the curb with your feet swinging off. We could put you in the drawer when we're traveling, As they said, growing up as a kid, when they say sticks and stones may hurt your bones, but words will never hurt you. It's not true. Words will hurt you now, and they killing folks. So words are very powerful. And that was very deterrent at the time, but it didn't distract me. Because your heart, it measured. It pretty much doesn't have a height to it. It pretty much set the tone of who you are and what you're able to accomplish. And the height factor was the game of basketball. So, my heart was bigger than my height. So I didn't have no second or no hang-ups on believing that I belong with, the best of the best. Because my heart was just as big as theirs. Things that happened to me in my life allowed me to reflect and allowed me to resonate who I am, especially when I got shot. Those things became so clear in terms of, hey, I almost wasn't here, so why I have to worry about what someone else said that could hurt me and deteriorate me from becoming who I want to be. So, that changed my mindset. I remember early on when I used to go down on the court with my basketball and hearing all the words and hearing all the, the criticism about me being short. But after I got shot, I remember going back down there and hearing those sayings.
You may be watching this right now, and you have these incredible ideas, and what you think is missing is motivation.
At some point, everything's going to go south on you. Everything's going to go south, and you're going to say, this is it. This is how I end. Now, you can either accept that.
Opportunities.
By the time that they closed the second restaurant, it was an $800,000 loss.
Ooh.
I mean, that meant our entire home equity line gone.
Right.
It meant kids' college. I get just choked up just thinking about how terrifying it was. And so I found myself at the age of 41, like, just feeling like a complete failure. Because the way that our minds are wired, and the fact about human beings is that we are not designed to do things that are uncomfortable or scary or difficult. Our brains are designed to protect us from those things because our brains are trying to keep us alive. And in order to change, in order to build a business, in order to be the best parent, the best spouse, to do all those things that you know you want to do with your life, with your work, with your dreams, you're going to have to do things that are difficult, uncertain, or scary, which sets up this problem for all of us. You're never going to feel like it. Motivation's garbage. You only feel motivated to do the things that are easy, right? And at some point, I think we all hit that moment in life where things just are not going how you thought they would go. And what's amazing about those moments is we all respond very differently.
I believe desire and will to win is everything. I don't know why I'm like I am, but my butt's always burning. There's always something say, Art, dadgummit, you're supposed to go for it. Art, dadgummit, you're supposed to be somebody. You're supposed to make a difference with your life. What does the $500,000 a year person do? The $50,000 a year person doesn't do. You look at the outside and study those two individuals, everything seems to be the same. They both are the same sex, they both are the same age, they have the same training, the same positions, the same contract, the same fringe benefits. They both are successful, they work hard, they're good family people, make tough commitments. But what's the difference? What does the $500,000 a year person do? The $50,000 a year person doesn't do. He pays the price and a little bit more. He works hard and a little bit more. He's loyal to the company and a little bit more. He believes in a little bit more. He makes money and a little bit more. He saves money and a little bit more. If you want to win in these United States, you got to be tough and you can't quit.
I wore one branch manager down to the point that he says to me, Gardner, based on persistence alone, we're going to give you a shot.
Because at some point, we all bought into this lie that you got to feel ready in order to change.
You know what? You said I couldn't do it, but guess what? I start in 2 weeks.
We bought into this complete falsehood that at some point you're going to have the courage, at some point you're going to have the confidence, and it's total bullshit. You may be watching this right now, and you have these incredible ideas, and what you think is missing is motivation.
Failure is part of life. The difference for me, though, is I look at failure as a stepping stone to success. It's a speed bump.
Every time you learn something, you learn because something you did didn't work. And that exposes you to the part of the world that you don't understand. Every time you're exposed to a part of the world that you don't understand, you have the possibility of rebuilding the structures that you use to interpret the world.
I know I'm going to fail, but it's not failure if you learn something. And so every time I do, it just becomes a way for me to explain to someone else what it takes.
That's often why it's more important to notice that you're wrong than it is to prove that you're right.
People don't value what they don't fight for.
Baby steps count too, as long as you're going forward. And one day you add all those baby steps up and...
To stop you at all costs from doing anything that might hurt you. And the way that this all happens is it all starts with something super subtle that none of us ever catch. And that is with this habit that all of us have that nobody's talking about. We all have a habit of hesitating. We have an idea, you're sitting in a meeting, You have this incredible idea, and instead of just, saying it, you stop and you hesitate. Now, what none of us realize is that when you hesitate, just that moment, that micro moment, that small hesitation, it sends a stress signal to your brain. It wakes your brain up, and your brain all of a sudden goes, oh, wait a minute, why is he hesitating? He didn't hesitate when he put on his killer spiky sneakers. He didn't hesitate with the really cool track pants. He didn't hesitate with the NASA t-shirt. Now he's hesitating to talk. Something must be up. So then your brain goes to work to protect you. It has a million different ways to protect you. One of them is called the spotlight effect. It's a known phenomenon where your brain magnifies risk. Why? To pull you away from something that it perceives to be a problem. And so you can truly trace every single problem or complaint in your life to silence and hesitation. Those are decisions. And what I do and what's changed my life is waking up and realizing that motivation's garbage. I'm never going to feel like doing the things that are tough or difficult or uncertain or scary or new. So I need to stop waiting until I feel like it. And number two, I am one decision away from a totally different marriage, a totally different life, a totally different job, a totally different income, a totally different relationship with my kids. Your life comes down to your decisions. And if you change your decisions, you will change everything.
What makes life powerful and meaningful and substantive is the expiration date.
You do what you love doing and you do it well, then everything should sort of fall into place.
If we were to live forever, we could be slowful and lazy and indifferent because we'd have forever to get it straight. But the fact that the clock is ticking puts a sense of urgency on each and every one of us. And I know you're saying, well, I'm 20, I don't need to hear. Yeah, you do. You need to hear that because you won't be 20 long.
So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality.